It's the Cool Kids Club. You've been invited to the Cool Kids Club. It's so exciting, yeah. Justin likes monsters, yeah. And Amy likes words in the Cool Kids Club. Cool Kids Club.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cool Kids Club podcast, episode 61. Yes,
61,
yes.
Yeah.
Hey, who
Hi.
are you?
Well, I'm Amy, your sister.
Oh,
of
yes.
36 years, yeah.
Yes. And
I'm familiar.
I'm familiar, and I'm Justin.
Yeah.
And we are
Oh,
America's
hi.
favorite siblings.
That's trademark pending, that's correct.
Yes.
Legally, we have to say that.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, legally, we have to say that. Yeah.
But we are not the only. We are not the only cool
No.
kids on the call today.
We certainly are not.
Because we have a special guest.
And now, our special guest, I don't believe has any siblings, so I think they can just be an honorary
Sibling.
Yeah, an honorary sibling for us, I think.
For the purposes of this show. Hey, Casey, welcome back.
Hi, Casey!
I'm Homestar, captain of the gravy train.
Yay, Casey's
Yay! Now, Casey, what was the last episode you were on with us? Was that
I think.
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah, I think that's the only one I've been on.
That's the only one you've
Only
been on.
one?
I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. We love having special guests
welcome,
on here.
welcome back to the show. It's good to have you.
Yes, always.
Thank you. It's always nice to be here.
And we have I feel like we have kind of a unique topic.
Yeah.
Today on the podcast.
Do you think it's too niche? Do you think we're going to alienate our audiences?
I don't think so. It was. I mean, Homestar Runner was pretty. I mean, that was pretty big for people of a certain age.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I think there's just a few key years that if you
Yes.
were alive and of a certain age during that time, you definitely were aware of it.
And
It burned hot and fast like the
That's
Pogs.
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. Really like a flash in the pan, you know?
Is that what a lot of people did with their Pogs? Used them for fuel.
Exactly. Yeah,
How they
exactly.
started
For
big
Tinder.
fires on the beach in Hawaii.
Is that
Yeah.
why we don't see them
Is-
much anymore?
Yeah. Oh man, love a Pog.
It always comes back to the Pogs.
It always comes back to because so many things we talk about on this show burn hot and fast.
They did. And
true.
Homestar Runner is I don't know. Now I'm paranoid. Is it too niche? I don't know. Do you?
I don't care if it is. I just carry. We're doing it. It's happening.
You know, I was. To me, Homestar Runner is just like emblematic of the nostalgia I feel for the internet in a certain point in time.
Absolutely.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
And how that is just kind of gone and probably never coming back.
There was an innocence to that era of internet.
Yeah, and I do want to
That
talk
we
to you
will
all
never
more
forget.
about that sort of idea of it. You know, those were like Wild West days. You know, like just
Yes.
so much creativity and just weird stuff going on. I loved it,
And
man.
like high schoolers learning HTML, middle
Oh,
schoolers.
yeah.
I was there with my Angel Fire website, like coding. Like, who was I?
Yeah,
Like,
I was definitely doing HTML.
Oh, absolutely.
on, like-
We were all coders.
I was a hacker. You see,
Oh, I see.
yeah,
I could have been a woman in STEM.
That's
You know?
that's.
I was the women in
Thank you,
STEM that they
Angel
talk
Fire.
about. Thank you, Angel Fire. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Zanga, all those things.
Oh yeah, but hey, before
Yeah,
we,
if you want your bold titles in Zanga, you got to know how to do the little open
gotta
caret
know.
B slash close caret.
Yeah, /B. You gotta. Yeah, exactly.
I figured out how to get this, and I think I maybe even got it from Casey. This where you could change the banner quote on your Zanga, like every time because usually it would just be the same thing. But you could have it where it would like refresh every time you go, and you could have it set to like.
So you could have
do
like several different
You could
ones.
do like 20 different ones. And
That's
every
an
time you
unlocked
go,
memory.
but you remember that, don't you?
Yeah, I remember
Yep.
that now.
And I remember
that's next level, guys.
And I remember
That's
yours.
next level.
I remember yours being the class is Pain 101, and your instructor's Casey Jones. Though I shouldn't say that because last time I did, you accused me of doxing you.
Yeah, it's okay. It's out now. And there's a Need Ninja Troll movie, although I don't know if Casey Jones is in it.
I'm not trying to. Don't swat Casey. Don't. Don't send the cops to his house.
My enemies might be listening, Justin.
Oh my god! And there are many.
And they are many.
They are many. Well, yeah. This is
We're off to a great start.
It's a little niche, but I think you're gonna find that more people who listen to our podcast are like, oh my god, I remember that thing. Like maybe they weren't.
And this is a little later than the era that we tend
exactly. I was going to say
this
is
show.
specifically
This is
early 2000s, and we typically talk about things from the 80s or 90s that maybe extend into the early 2000s, but this is just very specific to this time period. Basically, the years I was in high school, like from 01 to 05 is when I was in high school, and that was like a Homestar Runner heyday.
Oh yeah. It was peak Homestar. Casey, why are you on this show specifically? Like, tell me some of your Homestar Runner memories.
Well, I'm on it specifically because you asked me to be on, and I said yes.
Oh, okay.
I said
remember,
yes 1,000 times yes.
I remember watching Homestar Runner videos with you and Brian on Brian's family computer in the front,
I'm sure we
in
did
the
that.
front,
Absolutely.
in the living
yes.
room.
In between
Getting viruses on his computer.
Installing different expansions of The Sims. To install, we were probably watching Homestar Runner cartoons.
No, yes, yeah. Oh, I played so much Sims over at Brian's
Guys,
house.
I never have played Sims.
Oh, you would love it. It's great.
I know I would. That's kind of why I can't. Like now, I'm like Animal Crossing. I'm like I can't do it because it'll be my whole life. It'll be a problem.
That's fair.
And I'm closing in on 40, so I don't know if that can be my whole life at this point.
Back to the topic. Homestar Runner, like you guys were saying, it was emblematic of that certain era of the internet in the early 2000s. It was just a part of like this is what you did at the beginning of the week. You look through your bookmarks on your computer.
Oh, you had your routine
click
every
one
day.
by one. Yeah, and you might have them organized into folders. So like you checked your folder with all your band websites to see if any of your bands have like new tour dates.
Casey is revealing a lot about himself right now.
I'm right there with him. I was doing the same stuff. You had your music blogs, your music sites. You got to go through your friends, Facebook or Zanga, or not Facebook, but MySpace or Zanga. Not Facebook yet, Zanga for sure.
And you got to, you don't get updates, or maybe if you're like super techie, you had an RSS feed, but I don't think I knew anybody who did at that point. So you got to manually click on.
Later on, I used RSS feeds a lot, but
but you got to manually click on everything and just see if something's news there. And so. For a website like Homestar Runner, like you might know, Strong Bad Emails update on this day. So 8 o'clock, you click on it. If it's not up yet, next time in school, you've got a block that has a computer with access in it. You check again.
Yeah, you got that
when it's finally
BS
up, you tell
typing
everybody,
class
hey
of third
guys,
period.
it's up.
You can watch the new Homestar Runner video.
Right.
Oh man, I think I wasn't this advanced in my internet browsing.
What were you doing?
I mean, I was still doing Homestar Runner and I was doing Zanga. I was doing those things, but I wasn't as organized as it sounds like you all were. Also, I spent a lot of time on AOL Instant Messenger.
Oh well, I did too. A lot.
As
we've discussed. I think we did a whole episode on that. So this is the same era, right?
Yes.
So like
absolutely.
AOL Instant Messenger was at its peak early 2000s. Homestar Runner, as we'll see, like really the most popular years, probably like 2002 to 2005. So that's
What would be that? What was that website? And it was just like dumb shit to do when you were bored. What was that called? And it would have like
you'll have to be more specific.
I mean, there's a bunch of those. Newgrounds.
no.
Stumble Upon. That was later.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I feel like
I also just want to
No.
kind of talk to Casey about old weird websites that he used to frequent.
Well, I mean,
because I know there's a lot of
kind
good
of
ones, and I thought we might.
I mean,
dredge
this
up
is
some
kind of a
memories
lead
for
into
me.
that. So, like, I was trying to think. I actually don't remember the first time I found out about Homestar Runner. I don't remember if somebody showed it to me or if I just stumbled upon it. And thinking back to what the web was like at that point, I can't really remember the specifics of how I stumbled upon any of that stuff, or the first time I heard
No,
about any
not
of that
really.
stuff.
I
It's
feel
all
like
just
a lot
big
of it was
jumble.
just word of mouth too, because there wasn't social media like we have social media today, or we would have even a few years later. So it was word of mouth. It was literally like
You might have like if
we're at Brian's house after school, and
Right.
someone told him about this funny video, and now we're watching a bunch of them. Like, I'm pretty sure, I don't remember specifically the first time I saw Homestar Runner, but that was probably it. I seem to remember, like, it was probably at Brian's house, I imagine, because that's where we saw that stuff.
to get what you were asking about too, you might have like some GeoCity or Angel Fire web pages for like a show you like or something like that. So like there might be like the
Definitely.
X-Files, GeoCities
you gotta
fan
sign
ring
my
or something.
guest
Do you
book.
remember the rings? Yeah, you sign the guest book and then you look at the web page rings. So
Don't-
all of
yes.
the web pages, personal web pages that are involved in that topic are linked together. So you click through and someone might
yeah.
have a list of links on the left side of the page that was like, here's some funny websites. And so Homestar Runner might be listed under Communist Mario or something like that.
Right.
And do you remember Communist
were you
Mario?
guys?
I do.
Were you guys on LiveJournal? Because I was not, but that was of the same era.
No, I never did LiveJournal. I never did Friendster. Really,
No, I didn't
my
either.
first. I mean, I would say Zanga was the first, what you would call social media that I sort of
Yeah.
actively did, and then
I mean, I
and
feel
then
like
MySpace
I feel
succeeded
like-
that eventually.
I think that Zango walked so that like Facebook could run. I mean, it was just pouring out your feelings for no reason to people who didn't care, and that's just what Facebook is now.
This is
Right?
this is making me so nostalgic, and I know that's kind of the whole. That's the whole.
Well, now
thing,
it's
right?
like a
that's the whole
cesspool
podcast.
of boomer memes, but
Well,
I know. It's just like the internet now is a hellscape compared to this awesome Wild West wonderland we're describing.
By the way, it was E-Bombs World that I was trying to think of. I had to.
oh,
yes.
E-Bombs World.
I had
of course,
to Google.
Of course.
I was like, it was like I was like, what was that?
I
It was E-Bombs
remember.
World.
I remember being at Jacob's house, watching E-Bombs World, the GI Joe PSAs.
oh gosh, yes.
Do you remember those, Casey?
Oh yeah, I still
Yeah.
I saw a reference to that yesterday.
I still
I'm a
revisit a
computer.
couple of those. I'm a computer. Stop all the downloading. Amy, do you remember those?
No.
Okay.
I think I was on a different part of
And
E-Bombs
this is like before YouTube even.
Oh yeah.
Yes, YouTube was 06, so this is all before that.
And,
This is just.
that's-
I was on. You know what other website? And I'm sorry. We're kind of way off topic. And
We're 15 minutes
Oh,
in
I'm
and
gonna
not even
bring
begun.
it back. I'm gonna bring it back.
Casey.
I know we're going to. Fark.com was
Oh yeah.
that was a big one for me.
How did I recall that one?
Fark and what was the one that you really frequented? What was the one with
something awful.
something awful? I was gonna say it's the one with Adventure Palace.
Adventure
Yeah.
Palace. Now, I will say, and kind of bringing us back to this, that a lot, there were several things, I won't say everything, because of course there was stuff I came across on my own or my friends, introduced me to. There were a lot of early internet things that you introduced me to, Justin. So,
Okay.
Homestar Runner
What would
being
one be, for
one of them.
instance?
What would one be, for instance? Homestar Runner.
Homestar Runner. Okay.
I did not know about this existence until you told me about it.
Okay.
So
we keep talking about Homestar Runner, and I feel like there's maybe a decent percentage of our listening audience who may be unfamiliar with. I don't know. Now you've got me doubting myself.
Yeah.
So what the hell is Homestar Runner? We keep talking about it. What the hell does that mean? Casey, what the hell is this?
I don't know, man. So when we mentioned all those other like big comedy websites and things like that, Homestar Runner is kind of unique. I can't think of a single other kind of property from that era that was as big as it was in that sense. Like all those other things were like hubs where people create things and upload them and share them.
yes.
But there was no other single website that was just like as deep and had as much content, I guess you would call it now.
It was so much original
under a
content.
singular creative vision.
Yes.
See, and that's what I was saying. It's like
was.
It's the same people making everything on this one site, whereas like those other sites, like you said, it's
Yes.
a collection of people just uploading their funny stuff from different parts of the internet.
And it's all Flash too, which
Yes.
if you
R.I.P.
think back to what the internet was like back then, I mean, still a lot of people were on AOL dial-up. Very few.
And you had to always make sure you had the right Flash player updated.
Yes.
And it
not
always
on the
needed
virus
an
update.
It always
needed
needed
an
an
update.
update.
And so to get these videos, that was the most like bandwidth saving, I guess, format that you could get at the time. Because if you're going to upload a video, it's going to be like this really grainy 20 megabyte real player thing that if you're on dial-up is going to take like 6 hours to download.
Right.
Yeah.
But you could, get a reasonably decently long Flash animation to load pretty quick because it's just so much smaller.
Yeah.
And so Homestar Runner is like, the best way I can describe it is if you think of a 7-year-old in like 1992 or 1993 who's watched nothing but Saturday morning cartoons, creates their own characters for a Saturday morning cartoon, but then stops short of actually like writing things for them to do.
Right. Yeah. Like, there's not really narrative things. I mean, there are...
Now there's narratives in Teen Girl Squad, technically.
Yes. There are narratives. I shouldn't say there's no narratives. But, yeah, it's basically a collection of short Flash animations. Essentially is what it starts as, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, characters that are built on tropes of different... of that kind of that children's media in the 80s that are designed to sell you things that are more Flash than substance.
Literally.
Literal Flash.
Yes.
Adobe Flash.
Yes.
Not Adobe.
So you have Homestar Runner, who looks something like, what are those, like, rocket pops? The red, white, and blue.
Oh, he does
popsicle.
kind of look like a rocket
He does
pop.
look like a rocket pop.
He's like a version of that, and he's not very smart, but he's a good athlete, kind of. But he's the hero because he is supposed to be the hero.
He has kind of an Elmer Fudd inflection.
Right.
I feel like he kind of talks like this.
Yeah, he has
That's
a
a
little
good
speech
Homestar.
impediment.
Yeah, because you gotta stick your jaw out, and it kind of talks like
And
this. Like,
kind of your tongue.
Homestar Runner.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
that's pretty much
You gotta almost stick your tongue out of your mouth almost.
almost?
Just kind of set it there, like, on your teeth.
Yeah, and he's just kind of a rocket pop with legs, basically, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But he's kind of a good athlete.
Okay,
And his counterpart, the bad guy, or the team, and the team of bad guys, you have Strong Bad, who is a miniature kind of luchador, but he's got the luchador mask, but he's also got boxing gloves and no shirt.
Right. I appreciate that he can type with boxing gloves on.
Yes.
Because he sends a lot of emails, so
He's constantly on his email, as we will
he is
as we will
constantly
see.
on his AOL. Now, do you all have a Strong Bad impression for us?
No, I'm sorry, as far as I got.
Well, Justin's the king of impressions here. Do you have a strong bad?
Strong
for us?
bad is kind of.
Now I always do the put another one of them beefy arms on there.
Well,
That's strong bad, isn't it?
Trogdor
Trogdor thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always say
Trogdor
that
the
one.
Bernanator. He's kind of like that.
Yeah.
He kind of
Yeah.
talks like these.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's not something we could get away with now. I can tell you that right now. None of it. Probably none of it.
So he's not so strong bad. He's the middle child, right? Because he's got two brothers.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, I didn't know what order it is, but yeah, he's got two brothers. So you have
There's strong sad and strong mad that are his brothers.
and strong mad is. Do you know what a blimmy is?
What?
A blimmy or a
Blimmy.
blimey? I think it's blimmy.
I don't know. No, I
Do
don't.
not.
Okay, so you know those medieval travelogues where like people would describe like an elephant and it would look like a dinosaur monster, like in the medieval script text,
Right.
right? Okay, so a blimmy is like one of those creatures, and basically it's just a dude with without a head, and his face is like in his chest.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that's what those were called.
So basically strong mad.
Casey is bringing only the most cultured of references.
This is getting niche.
A little bit.
It got niche. It got so niche that even I was like, "What are we talking about?"
Okay.
And I'm on this show. But I do appreciate you bringing that kind of knowledge because we are first and foremost educators.
Educators, yes, that is my
So,
number one job.
Casey has and
Casey
Casey
is
is an actual
educator.
educator. So he's educating us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's your word for the day.
Speaking of education, let's talk about the cheat. Do you remember the cheat?
Yes.
I don't know if I do.
The cheat is like Strong Bad's little sidekick, like his pet / sidekick. He's like a little yellow and black kind of creature, kind of angly, but he just like
Yeah, he's like an angry little cheetah.
and yes, yeah, he's a tiny little boy, and he just kind of like growls and squeaks, and I think,
Yeah.
but
He has his own cheat language.
He's
Look him up.
the cheat. He's never cheat. He's the cheat.
Yeah, they always
The
say the
cheat.
cheat. The cheat.
Oh yes, I remember him now. I had to look up a picture.
The cheat is
Yeah,
not
he
dead.
I'm visual.
So
helps
glad the
Strong
cheat
Bad.
is not dead. You remember that? The cheat is not dead.
Yeah, Strong Bad is mean to everybody, so him and the cheat sometimes will get in fights when heists go sideways.
Yes,
I go sideways.
as they so often do.
Man.
Marzipan is the only female, the only regular female
Yes.
character, I guess, outside of the the Teen Girl Squad, obviously. Which
Yes,
we're
we're gonna talk about that.
Which
a
yes,
lot.
Marzipan is Homestar's on again, off again girlfriend, and she's kind of she's like a feminist hippie chick, I guess. She's in a band, and
Yeah, she's
She's-
very much
she's
the old singer-songwriter stereotype, like
yeah,
Phoebe
pretty
from
much.
Friends kind of thing,
Yeah,
except she's just
Oh.
like a
Like
Dawn
with
from
a ponytail.
She's Dawn from
Ver-
Babysitter's Club.
She's very much
but
Phoebe
grown
from
up.
Friends. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Marzipan. And you get a couple other characters. You get Bubs and you get Coach Z, but I want to talk about the King of Town and the Poopsmith because I remember them well.
Now we're getting into stuff I do not remember about Homestar Runner.
Well,
yeah,
the
the King-
Poopsmith is the Poopsmith.
He works for the King of Town,
He works for the
and
King
all he
of
does
Town.
is shovel poop.
He's,
all day, every
he is-
day.
He's the Poopsmith. Don't ask questions.
Yeah.
I won't. I won't. You all just run with this one.
Okay, so what are some of the cartoons, Casey? Tell us about like Strong Bad emails and all that, because that's
Okay,
That's
well-
like probably the most popular one, right? That's the one I remember the most of the Strong Bad emails.
Yes. So you get the actual narratives, and then at some point they up their art style a little bit, and it's within this early era that they branch out into kind of little spin-off stuffs, like what are the characters doing when they're not having competitions, or things like
Right.
that, or Homestar's not going on adventures. And so one of those mundane things that they pick up on is basically Strong Bad answering fan mail, where someone asks them a question or some advice, and he answers.
This is Justin. This is basically like our mailbag episode.
That's where I got the idea. He was the first one, I think, to do a mailbag.
Yeah.
Really?
No, I'm sure. That,
I was like, that can't be right.
no, that's definitely not right. Definitely not right. But this is where we get things like Trogdor, the Burninator.
The
This
emails
is where we get
definitely
Teen
became
Girl
quickly
Squad.
the biggest draw because they would
Yeah.
use those as jumping off points for other things.
Other characters and stories.
Yes. And Strong Bad is just so confident and so earnest in like his ridiculousness that he really just can pull off any piece of advice or that's when I think one of the reasons like the Trogdor one resonates so much is because he just decides I'm going to draw the most awesomest dragon because I'm a great artist. And
Yes.
whatever ridiculous things he puts together,
It's got a big beefy
is the
arm.
greatest.
Yeah.
Put another one of them big
Consummate
beefy arms
V's.
on there.
Consummate V's. Consummate.
I remember. Is it 20x6? They're the like anime parody.
Yes. Somebody
they
asked
did?
what Strong Bad would be like as an anime, I think, or something like that.
Yes, that was one that came out of the emails as well. And then, of course, there's Teen Girl Squad.
Teen Girl Squad! Cheerleader! So-and-so! What's your face? The ugly one!
Well,
Amy-
as you know, that was my favorite one.
Amy, tell
That's
us.
a good
This is your time to shine.
This is my time. Yeah.
Let's talk about Teen Girl Squad because that's one of the big. That's one of my kind of the classics to me.
Yeah. So Teen Girl Squad, there's many of these. There's a lot more of these episodes than I remember there being. But it is 4 girls who are friends, ? And they refer to themselves as the Teen Girl Squad. You have Cheerleader, So-and-so, What's-Her-Face, and the Ugly One.
Yes. Now this starts as a comic series that Strong Bad is drawing, right?
Yes, it is like on lined paper. It's like a flash animation thing that is. It looks like a sketchbook almost or something.
Sure.
Like a flip book kind of in a sense. And it looks like it's drawn with pencil. So you have these 4 characters. Cheerleader, of course, is like the mean one. She's the kind of the leader.
Oh, sure.
Is she the one that's in love? I'm in love with every boy. Was that Cheerleader? I'm in love with every boy.
I believe so. I believe that was Cheerleader, yes.
There are a lot of Teen Girl Squad quotes that make it into my daily repertoire.
I'm in love with every boy is one of them.
Hit
I
us with a
assume.
few.
Yeah. Hit us with a. You can't say that and not tell us what some of them are.
Are my underwears showing? Yes, ma'am. Like that one. That's definitely the I'm in love with every boy. That one. And in fact, my junior or senior year of high school, when we were at Upward Bound for the summer, they do Spirit Week, and one of the days was dress up as your favorite character or something. And me and my 2 best friends and another girl we knew, or no, it was
What's her face?
us. It was What's Her Face? Yeah. It was Stephanie. She was a big Homestar Runner
Don't
person,
dox
and
her
she-
too.
Hey, you said Jacob's last name earlier. So.
Oh, just edit all of these. Just bleep them out and post.
Yeah, I
Bleep
want to
them
hear
out.
some bleeps.
I want to hear some
All
bleeps.
right. She was
We'll
one
find a
of them.
good
and me and
Homestar
Jesse and
Runner
Ashley-
clip to edit over them with.
There you go.
Oh yeah, it'll be fine.
I want to hear some like cheat gibberish.
Yeah.
I dressed up as the ugly one, but I insisted upon that because she is my favorite. And every beginning of every little episode, it would have them drawn and introducing them, and it would have something different. Like, I can't remember any of them, but it would have different jokes about each one of them, like as it introduced them.
Yeah.
Oh, and the cheerleaders, I think her dress would say something different every episode as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. So-and-so, she's like the smart one. What's her face, the socially awkward one, and the ugly one's the ugly one.
And then I remember the
Anyway.
Gregs as well. Which was
the four
Yes.
Gregs.
the four Gregs, which were like their boyfriends. And they did like some spin-off with them. I recall that, and they were all named Greg.
what's her
there was,
face? She's going out with Sci-Fi Greg.
Sci-Fi Greg.
Sci-Fi
And then there's D&D Greg. And
That's right.
oh gosh, what was the computer one's name? He was like open source Greg.
Open source.
So,
And
Now I got
like anime Greg.
Oh, okay. Well, they're covering all their bases.
which I feel like is just so specific to the types of guys that
Well,
you
I was
would
reading
find.
something about it, and apparently, like, two of them are based off of guys they knew in high school. I think D&D and Sci-Fi Greg were based off of friends they had,
That doesn't surprise
the
me
brother
one bit.
chaps.
They're based on friends
Girl
we
Squad
all
was-
had.
Absolutely my favorite part of Homestar Runner. And has, like I said, I still say those jokes. Like, I mean, at least once every couple days I'm saying a Teen Girl Squad joke.
Well, and the format of those is they do a typical high school related thing, or they cruise for boys, or go somewhere like the mall, and or go shopping, and then almost like South Park with Kenny, they would die random horrible deaths.
It would always
Yeah.
be some
Times.
gruesome death. They'd all die at the end. Yeah.
And of course, because it's on notebook paper, like scribbles, it looks like something like the weird kid that sits next to you in biology would draw.
Exactly. Exactly.
Of just like somebody shooting lasers at somebody and like turning to ash or whatever.
They came and got him out of class, and he had to go to the counselor's office.
Kristen, you look burnt or dead. So yeah, say that one a lot. It was great. It was great.
So we
Wonderful.
mentioned
That was for the girls. You know, that one was for the girls.
for the girls.
Yeah.
We've mentioned Trogdor a couple times, but Casey,
Yeah.
can you elaborate on what is Trogdor? Because that's one of the big ones.
Yeah.
That's one of the big heavy hitters.
Sure. Trogdor, I think, was an answer to a question about somebody asking Strong Bad to draw a dragon. And so he
yes.
takes out a piece of paper and he tells you to draw a little S and a little S over here and some wings and some beefy arms. And then he like scraps it and tries again. But he still adds one beefy arm at the end.
Yeah.
And then
beefy arms.
then he cuts to, I think he's like leading a like he's leading an art class, and he's checking everybody's work. And Strong Mad's over there, and he's like carving the name Trogdor into the desk, or dragon into the desk with a knife. And I think the cheat is drawing one too, and then Strong Sad is like drawing a very nicely drawn shaded dragon, and Strong Bad lights it on fire, and then he starts just singing a song about Trogdor, like a little metal song. Trogdor! Trogdor! Burninating the countryside.
Oh, I'd forgotten about the song.
How'd
that
you
was a
forget
big
about the
part.
song? The song is like the whole thing.
I was too concerned with the beefy arms.
Did you have the CD? I had the CD Strong Bad Sings that had
Justin.
the full length version of the Trogdor song. That's right.
And it's got like a little MIDI guitar playing.
Ladies.
As, yeah.
Did April
it-
just
it
walk
just-
out of the room and out the front door? Just now when you admitted that.
And Trogdor was a big hit. They made it into. They put it a little video game in their video game section.
That's right.
Where you are Trogdor and you're like burninating peasants in their huts.
Burninating the village. Yeah.
I remember specifically playing that one for like an hour and a half because I was racking up so many free mans, extra mans, because you didn't have lives, you had mans. And just getting really bored, and so I just purposely trying to kill myself off just to see if there's anything special for like that big of a score, and there was not. So,
well, my next question was going to be, did you ever play any of the games? But I guess I know the answer to that now. I don't really recall playing a lot of the games.
I remember playing Peasant's Quest. I don't know if I beat that one. I may have beat that one. But I think in that peak period, I don't remember there being a ton of their games. Going back and looking through their archives now, it looks like a lot of the games came after I had fallen off. But I remember
I think so because
ones being the big
I remember
ones.
the really early ones. Like there was like this, like a soundboard, and like there was like a Light Bright emulator kind of thing. Do you remember that?
Yeah. There was Marzipan's band tryout where you just press keyboard keys for different instruments, and then she blows you off at the end of the song.
Yeah.
That brings me to something else we haven't mentioned yet. Is in all these videos, because they're flash animations, there's always a secret Easter egg, something to click on. So when you would watch these things, you would usually watch them, or I would at least, multiple times with my mouse cursor trying to like scan over everything before the scene would switch to see if there was something clickable, because your little arrow would then point into like the little finger icon.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
you could
right.
click on it.
God,
And
you just unlocked that memory.
just like
I completely forgot about this part.
Yes.
You would click on something. It could be just like a little sound effects or something might pop up. Sometimes it would be like a whole nother 30-second or multiple minute cartoon.
Yep.
That would come up. So you really had to search. And so I remember specifically when I was in college, my roommates and I would be at Brian's house. We would, maybe watch these 2 or 3 times in a row to like try to find all the Easter eggs when something new dropped.
Wow, I had completely forgotten about that. But yes, I remember doing that as well.
I feel like this has just got me like thinking about so many early internet things, and I'm just over here like thinking about those like flash games where you would just be like going through like a house, like a haunted house, and like trying to solve mysteries. Which like we still have shit like that. It's just not.
Oh yeah,
a random
I
website
definitely
that you go to.
Went through lots of phases, just getting addicted to random flash games. I remember working at Radio Shack and sitting in the back room at Radio Shack and being the only one there and playing this crab volleyball flash game for hours. For hours, I would play that,
and that's the other weird thing about this era. Is that everybody kind of, if you lived through it, has their own little thing that like nobody else remembers, because there were just so many of these things.
Yes.
Yeah.
There'd be like no way to like find them all or keep up with them all. You just had like your own little couple that you were addicted to, and
a lot of that stuff is gone. You know?
Yes.
Like,
now,
do you think anybody's? Go ahead, Casey.
Well, in the past year or two, somebody has packaged a lot of them into this one downloadable bundle that you can get off like archive.org that comes with a flash emulator specifically for games, and that just has like thousands and thousands of things in there that you can download and kind of sort through. And it's not just like the stuff they thought was good. It was like all those little, like everything. If you had like a TV show or movie or even like a snack, you had a flash game tied in with it. Like, I'm sure there were like a Capri Sun game or like a Handy Snack game, or it's like like there's King of the Hill one I saw the other day that was like give Hank Hill a haircut at Luann's barbershop.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
It was just like all it was is like giving like you click on 5 different little haircuts for Hank, and you can hear Luann cry because she ruined Hank's hair. Like something you wouldn't even spend like 60 seconds on, but like you had to have that if you were marketing for anything between the years of like 1998 and 2006.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Wow. Okay, now I really need to seek this out.
Yeah,
because I'm
you
trying to play some of these.
Yeah. I'll send you something after the show, man. Just keep it on the down low. So other popular parts of the website, just even the menu when you first log on, they would have different opening animations. So like there would be like 20 different background themes, I think now, if you go on their actual website and go on their Flash emulator. There's like over little 20 different home screens, and you hover over each little button or click each different button, and it has like different funny animations in the background.
There was so much to explore. I remember
it was all layered.
Now, does this still exist? Is it still
yes,
up?
If you go to homestarrunner.com, it's there, and there is an emulator called like Ruffle or something.
Yes.
That kind of works. Like some things are broken. Like if you go to the FAQ section, like that one's completely broken. You can't use it. But most of the videos will still play, and it's not like the old Flash player where it would like immediately take you to the link. Like it has to load that file again, and then you have to click play again. So it's not quite as seamless, but it still has all the Easter eggs and stuff.
That's what I was about to ask.
You can go, and when you look on some of the navigation, you can either play the Flash version or it will link you to YouTube. And the YouTube versions will play some of the secrets at the end. So if there's like a little hidden animation, they just tack it on at the end, no matter where it came in the original video. But I don't think all the secrets are on YouTube.
No, probably not all of them. I'm just looking
at
it.
Not all the videos are on YouTube either. There's still some that are still only Flash and only on the website.
Man.
What a moment in time.
This is great.
The holiday specials, those were big. Those were big events. I remember
the December
gathering around the computer.
Ween. That was always a big deal.
Yes.
And Halloween, I remember they always did Halloween stuff, and then they did December.
Yeah,
Ween,
the Halloween ones were big.
Which I think I think their explanation was it's not Christmas; it just happens to fall on December 25th.
Yeah.
But it's essentially an
the
extension
big thing with
of Halloween, but it just looks a lot like Christmas. There's a tree and caroling, and
there's Bubs is what do they call him? He's like a weird Santa.
Bubs. Bubs. Bubs is like
something man.
Yes, yeah, the like shady businessman guy.
Yes, he's the shady businessman version of Santa. So he'll give you like random coupons for casino hotels.
Yes.
Cold call kids for discounts at Vegas hotels, or and then yell at you. And there you don't drink cider. You drink a cup of Hot Jones.
I remember that.
Casey Jones.
Yeah.
Did they have like toys? Like, were they popular enough to have like a toy line or anything?
Actually, yes, they did. I'll get into this. I think they started. I remember when I first got to college. I think they had just launched a plushie, and I can't remember what their first plushie was. If it was a Homestar or a Strong. I think the Strong Bad one was later. But I think they had several plushies. I think there's a Homestar Runner one and Cheat one. I know there's a Strong Bad one that actually talks.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
they made a
ton
ton of money on merch. That was huge. For,
yes.
Like the brothers who created this, they were able to quit their day jobs and just live off of the money they made off the website for years.
What were they? What kind of merch?
T-shirts.
Like other than t-shirts and stickers?
T-shirts were the big
CDs,
ones.
DVDs.
Yeah, they had
Eventually,
they
DVD compilations
DVD with
and stuff.
commentary.
Yes, yeah, they would do the commentaries. Yes,
I remember Stephanie had a Homestar Runner sticker on the back of her car. In her window.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
The Halloween ones were big too because the costumes were usually very niche. They were like nerdy things or obscure things.
Right, yeah.
Japanese culture.
Sometimes. It was funny because sometimes, like, there was one and Marzipan was dressed up as some anime girl, and Homestar was going to ask her what she was dressed as, and she's like, Homestar, don't even start. Strong said just told me to dress up like this. I don't even know who it is.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, the Halloween ones were big. They did a lot of holiday ones too. I remember there being like Thanksgiving and Easter ones, but I feel like Halloween and Decemberween, Christmas those are like the two big ones that they always like went all out for.
Yeah. What else was there? There were the Cheat Commandos. Do you remember the Cheat Commandos?
Ooh, that sounds familiar, but I couldn't tell you
They were
any
like,
details.
Yeah, it's like a G.I. Joe parody where it's just clearly designed. Like, they just tell you, like, we have all these things by them and all the play sets. And like all the vehicles are just designed to store all of the cheats.
Yes.
The Cheat Commandos.
I remember Limousine, the 80s hair metal band.
Yeah, somebody asked for names for their band, I think.
Yeah.
Or if he can play the guitar or something like that.
Yeah. Limousine, Zeen.
There's Tarantula. That was
Tarantula, that's like the
metal
death
band.
metal. The death metal one. Yeah, there were several of those.
Oh, Marzipan's Answering Machine.
Those
were not my favorite,
Now
but those could be funny.
That was like kind of like an email thing, right? There would be
it was the characters calling in to just say random things on Marzipan.
But it was like
it was like a recurring bit, like
yeah, it was
emails
a recurring thing they would drop on. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember those like Strong Bad would always like every time he would do a prank call where he was like putting on some kind of like he was Detective Everybody. I remember.
God.
Safety Dan, and he would like pretend to be Homestar and stuff like that.
Before I forget too, this was in the height of Homestar Runner. There's one thing that I always think of when anybody. It's one of the first things I think of when anybody talks about Homestar Runner, and that was when I went off to college. I was meeting my roommates for the first time. Because it was like a dorm room. You had like a living room area, common area, and then two smaller rooms that were like tiny bedrooms, and like two people had beds in there. So I had three roommates, and one of my roommates had a Homestar Runner shirt, and me and one of the other guys were like, "Oh, cool, yeah, Homestar Runner," and he's like, "Oh yeah, I love Homestar Runner. You guys got to see this." And he took us into his room because he was the first one there. He lived down the road, so he got there like the first and had already unpacked and stuff. And he opens his closet, and I swear to God, in his closet there were 7 outfits, and each one was a Homestar Runner shirt, a different one for like each day of the week, and the same pair of khaki cargo shorts.
No.
Like, it was literally like opening up the closet of a cartoon character.
It was like Ernest.
It was like Charlie Brown, but
it was like Superman.
Except it was with Homestar Runner shirts. Yes.
Oh.
And we both, me and the other guy were like, that's
cool.
pretty awesome.
Like, I mean, yeah.
So when you said, do they have merchandise? Like, this guy had everything.
You were like
he,
oh, they did.
He had the plushies sitting up in his dorm room. He had all the shirts and all the stuff.
You guys thought you liked Homestar Runner.
Yeah.
I'll bet that guy was annoying.
Well, it's... I was going to say, so Nathan, if you're out there, man, I hope you are still into Homestar Runner. And I've got to say, it was not appreciated at the time, but you bringing in your drum set across the hall into your tiny bedroom with our other roommate, just a troll move that was not appreciated in its time.
Was this specifically because the other roommate sucked?
I mean,
like, was he doing it to troll him, or was he doing it because he didn't have self-awareness?
I honestly don't know. That's what's a little brilliant about it.
Could
But he
we-
took
could
a full
we-
drum set
could-
and
could
sat
we
it up
track
in the middle
Nathan
of that
down,
tiny
you think?
bedroom and started playing.
Oh my god.
You think could we
In a
track
Homestar
Nathan
Runner
down
shirt.
and
I
get
don't
him
know.
on the show?
I'll see what I
I
can
mean,
do.
I feel
Can you get
pretty
him on the phone
confident-
right now, live with us?
I feel pretty confident that while he's probably not a regular listener to this podcast, he definitely has a Google alert for anything Homestar
Yes.
Runner. So this episode is going to pop up on his radar, and he's going
Man,
to
I hope
listen.
so.
and I doxed Casey. Oh no!
And you doxed Casey earlier.
I said his
So-
complete home address of.
Y'all just love to make my editing harder.
No, you can use that. That's the cheat sound effect.
That was
Okay.
us. You don't have to do a thing. I did it for you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sorry I doxed you and maybe got you killed by this this old roommate of yours, Casey.
I don't think he'd kill me. He's too nice. He's a nice guy.
You show up at your house.
I don't think anybody
Just-
that likes
just loved a
Homestar
little
Runner that
bit,
much is
yeah.
a murderer.
Show up at Casey's house in a lucha mask and boxing gloves, no shirt on,
No shirt.
with one beefy arm.
Now, you're talking about how big this was kind of a niche show. It really did have like its pulse on a certain type of nerd and nerd culture at the time.
Oh yeah.
I
It
didn't
was
really
nerds
know
like you
this.
guys that loved comedy.
Yeah.
Like it
And
was.
I didn't really know this at the time, but I had no idea that They Might Be Giants collaborated with them on several things. And so when you told me about this episode, I had to go back and kind of watch those things.
I had no idea about that either.
A funny anecdote that I read of the the two guys who created this are two brothers. Well, okay, so the creators are actually Mike Chapman and Craig Zobel created the characters, but it's these two brothers who run it. Anyway, he says that there was a very specific day in I think he said February 2004, where he felt like was the absolute peak of how great of the Strong Bad hype, where it was just he was on the top of the world, and it was because that day two things happened. Or he received two things in the mail. One, a tape from They Might Be Giants with a recording of a song to use on a Strong Bad email. And two, a full life-size Tom Serva replica from the creator of Mystery Science Theater.
Oh, wow.
See, there's the people who enjoy MST3K and the people who enjoy Homestar Runner. The Venn diagram.
That Venn
is
diagram's
just
just a circle.
It's
Yeah.
It's just a circle. Yes,
Yep.
absolutely.
So I think that
And
They
early
Might Be
Adult
Giants, it was... I probably had... It was an early email one, but it was just Strong Bad singing. They had written the lyrics, and I think they had recorded maybe the music to use. But it was A Different Town, I think is the name of the email, where someone asks about how he would change things around the town if he could change anything. And he sings a little ditty. But then they also animated a music video for They Might Be Giants called Experimental Film. I think. Did either of you watch that?
No, I haven't seen that.
So it's basically just a Homestar Runner cartoon that they did for the music video. And you know how in music videos it'll say like the band, the song, and all that, directed by. And so it was directed by Strong Bad and the Cheat.
Oh, that's funny.
And it's basically it's mostly stars Strong Sad. So he's just doing very cliche, pretentious, black and white experimental film kind of framing and scenes that you would see in somebody's bad film school short.
So on par for They Might Be Giants.
Yes,
Yeah, that sounds about
but
right.
it was a good fit for Strong Sad. It's a pretty funny little video. And there are two times that the Poop Smith talks because he's taken a vow of silence. He's a completely silent
Just
character.
here to shovel poop.
As all Poop Smiths
But
do.
one of the Johns, because the guys in They Might Be Giants are both named John. One of them does the Poop
This
Smith
is
voice.
not men who. This is not pimps. We're not referring to pimps
Right.
and the men that
Their first
okay,
names
great.
are John and John.
Great.
And I can't remember.
John's not a pimp, but John is a. Never.
A John is the person
Never
who.
mind.
John. Yeah.
Move past
John's
it. Move past
Johns
it.
are
Moving
keeping
along.
pimps in business.
So he sings in the first time, and then the second time he does a Marzipan answering machine call. The Poopsmith calls Marzipan and talks about. It's like after 7 years of not answering her. I guess it was during the hiatus. So the joke is she didn't answer her answering machine or check it for 7 years. And so it's a 30-minute long answering machine episode. And one of the calls is one of the They Might Be Giants guys calling as the Poopsmith to talk about how he's tired of his vow of silence and asking Marzipan for his advice and like saying, if you don't get back to me, I'll just forget about the whole thing.
So when do you do you think you were kind of like tuned out, Casey? Like at what point were you like not keeping up anymore?
That's a good question.
When you saw that guy's T-shirt collection and you thought,
No, we
This
stayed
is
on
a
for
road I
a
don't
couple
want to
years.
travel down.
Now, going down and talking about the anecdote, in 2004. In 2004, that was definitely the peak, and we were still keeping up with it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was sometime. Oh, and okay, I'll have to talk about that in a minute too. Okay, I've got it here. 2008, I think that was definitely like past because I remember that's when the first actual video game came out off the computer for a Homestar Runner property, and it was a WiiWare game.
I
Really?
remember that.
WiiWare.
I remember that. Yeah.
So it was Wii's downloadable service, and they had gotten with Telltale Games, which was an adventure game company, to make Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people. And it was an episodic game, so you download episode 1 for like maybe $5 or something, and then a few months later the next one would come out. And I remember seeing that and I was like, oh yeah, I remember Homestar Runner. I haven't checked that website in a long time. So
Okay.
somewhere between, probably the last two years before that, maybe 2006, 2007, it just had not become part of my daily routine to check in my little
you
bookmark
weren't checking
windows
that
anymore.
bookmark anymore.
I had moved on to Something Awful in Adventure Palace
Yep.
by that point as my
You talk about
daily things to check.
you talk about niche things that the
Married to the Sea.
The three of us
Oh
specifically.
God, Married to the Sea. Casey,
I loved Married to
you
the
just
Sea.
unlocked that for me. I loved Married to the Sea.
Oh,
that was
no.
that was a
all
big
that was
one.
definitely post Homestar Runner for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
for sure.
Yes.
Now I remember being
that
in
would
high
be a
school.
very niche episode.
I was still in high school when Homestar Runner was becoming a thing. I guess we all would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I had kind of fallen off by then. So it says in 2009 is when they stopped actually updating the websites regularly.
Yeah, 2009 is when they kind of went on hiatus. I think they I don't know that they were making enough money anymore to be able to just do that, and they'd gotten married and all that. So I have not seen any of it. It did come back though. They came back in 2014. So between 2009 and 2014, there's no new content. But they still post occasionally, and I think mostly for holidays and stuff. Casey, have you watched any of their newer stuff? Because I have not.
Yeah, I did. So what I did to help me prepare is I did, like when I was doing my workouts and stuff, I would just do I put on the Homestar Runner playlist on YouTube because that's where they post all their new stuff, goes to YouTube and to their website. I think they still do use Flash
Okay.
for the new versions, but it's primarily YouTube, I think. And they've uploaded a good portion of their old stuff, and so I did a mix of watching some of the classics and doing some of the new stuff. And there are new Strong Bad emails, a few new cartoons, and they've actually have some new series as well. And they definitely still have their pulse on current day like niche nerd geek things. So one of the newer series is one where Strong Bad plays old video games. It's called Disc 4 of 12. And so he takes like an old floppy disk and sticks it in his computer and then does, I guess what you would call a let's play.
Okay.
And plays through an old video game. And some of them are like the Videlectrix game. One of them was an actual real old, an actual Commodore like old video game. That was a sporting event one. And he plays through and gives his commentary, and it's pretty funny and entertaining. There was one, it was a text adventure where the cheat draws, because there's no graphics. It's a text adventure, so the cheat will draw the scenes. So it's in the cheat's like not quite as good art style. And it's where like he's trying to kill a vampire, so you're entering the vampire's castle and trying to find the vampire and kill him. And there was one, I don't know if you guys are familiar with what a VTuber is. This is like
not.
really getting... So there is a subculture now, I guess you could call it, or like a thing for some video creators where instead of putting their face on camera, they have an animated thing and the camera tracks their face and then puts those movements onto the animation. So you're like watching a kind of cartoon person like do the thing. And this is something that Japanese culture, Greg, would like do or be into.
Oh, he absolutely would like this.
So there's one where he plays a Game Boy game somebody made. It's like a Marzipan themed game, and he's playing it on. It's not a Game Boy. It's actually called an Analog Pocket, which is like a Game Boy emulator thing that you buy now. It's like they're definitely deep into the niche nerd culture around video games and things like that because it's a current thing. And so you can see his boxing gloves play this Game Boy thing. But in the corner, he made himself a VTuber. He's got his little animated head moving his mouth and talking and moving his head while he's playing this game on camera.
That is so weird.
That's like some Total Recall shit.
Yeah. Let's see what else is new that I saw. And they're still making new games, and a lot of the stuff they have are they're kind of updating or finishing old projects. So the thing that's being advertised now is Danger-esque, which is Strong Bad as a detective. He was a detective character, and they did a point-and-click adventure game with that character or that version of that character. And they had stopped in the middle of the second episode of that game series, and they're going to finish it this summer. So it'll be the first original episode with updated graphics and all new voice work, fully voiced. They're finishing the second episode, and they have a third to complete the trilogy. So there's a new little adventure game that is going to be coming out this year.
Well, there you go. Shit.
Man.
Well, go support.
Casey's got
Homestar Runner.
all the.
He's got the
info.
He's got the info, man.
He does. He's got all the shirts.
Cracking eggs of knowledge. He's got all the Homestar Runner shirts.
All the shirts. Like Casey's like, let me tell you a story about my college roommate who had all these Homestar Runner shirts.
It definitely wasn't weird, right,
it
guys?
Definitely wasn't me.
Justin, do you remember when I had a different Homestar Runner t-shirt every day of the week and the same pair of khaki shorts?
I mean, there's a lot I don't remember. There's a lot I don't remember.
This was when Casey was in college, Justin, and you all didn't go to college together, so God knows.
That's true. That's true. We did not go to college
true.
together, so it could have been you. Yeah, I don't know. We didn't see each other much in those years.
We'll choose to believe you, Casey, that it wasn't you.
Okay.
But
hey, I'll own up to all my nerdy crap.
That's true. That's true.
There
would be no reason to hide it. No reason to hide it.
That's
no,
true.
Man.
Very true.
I just told you about IDing an Analog Pocket and what a VTuber is. So
that's very true. If you didn't want us to know your true heart, then you would not have said those things.
And we love the true heart of Casey Jones. Don't go to his house and kill him.
And what a blimmy is.
And what a blimmy.
And what a blimmy is. Man, deep cuts on this one. We're going to have 3 listeners. And it's us 3. That is okay.
But I'll say the new stuff is definitely like it's still the weirdest thing about it is you can tell how much older the creators are now just because their voices are older. So it still sounds like Homestar and Strong Bad, but it sounds like
But your voice just changes as you get older.
15-year older. Yeah, it still sounds like a 15-year older Homestar and Strong Bad. So that's a little weird.
That's interesting.
But the writing is still kind of the same, and the humor is still the same.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy the old stuff, I think the new stuff is worth checking out because it's still kind of got that corny, nerdy, slightly subversive, but earnest sense of humor. Of just being silly and ridiculous, and then but totally buying into it and believing in itself doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where the magic of Homestar Runner is.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's just
That's
it is
awesome.
just taking me back to that old internet that will never get back.
No.
Yeah.
I wish there was
All
like
the
a
hamster dances.
I wish there was a program you could download and run that just literally would just pull up like the internet from 2000.
Okay.
If
Amy,
anyone,
Casey's got
I was
it.
going to say Casey probably has something.
I have not played this yet, but apparently there's a game that is like perfect for this. I think it's called Hypnospace Outlaw. And it's a little adventure game, but the whole deal is that when you load it up, you have like a Windows 95 computer, Windows 98 computer screen, and that's your interface. And so it's all about playing the game by navigating kind of like that old style internet and computer and things like that.
Do I have to play like Minesweep at any point? Because I don't know the point of that one.
No, I'm not sure. Well, I haven't played it yet. I'm not sure, but oh man,
I can do that skiing game.
I would just listen
Free
to
ski.
a podcast on Minesweeper last week, man.
I'm just
of
trying to
course you did,
to
Casey.
get on there and play some Chips Challenge. That was my game.
Oh my god,
Chips Challenge.
Loved Chips Challenge. Amy, you
I
remember?
don't remember Chip.
You absolutely Google Chips Challenge.
I'm
right
Googling.
now. Do it right now.
I'm always live.
There's a
Googling.
lot of clones of that one too. So if you didn't,
I
play
have.
Chips
Oh,
Challenge,
I have.
There's a lot of similar games.
That really was.
Oh, I just had no idea what
that
that
was my
called.
favorite. Was Chips Challenge. All those
Oh,
Windows
holy
games. Can
Justin.
I unlock a memory for you, Amy?
Oh my God. Oh my.
Are you,
That made me almost want to cry. It made me like so sad that.
that life is.
I'm just looking at
I'm
pictures of it.
old.
Oh my God, I'll never have it back again. This is a good time to wrap it
All right,
up.
I feel like we've bottomed out. We need to.
God.
I do want to ask one more thing. Is there any other Strong Bad emails or cartoons that you remember specifically? I know we left out a lot of the cast.
We did, yeah.
But they kind of knew and would play into like these were the popular characters. These were the Strong Bad would say sometimes these are all the good characters.
Yeah.
And Homestar would be like, "What about I said all the good characters?" So they knew like who was popular and who
It's
was
interesting
not.
because it's called Homestar Runner, but Strong Bad was obviously the most popular
Yeah,
character.
he was the breakout hit.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, for sure. I remember the system is down. The system is down.
And that's one thing. Yeah, and one thing you were talking about how there's the CD, but
There
now
is.
if you go on Spotify, if you go on streaming, there's a bunch of compilations, and if you click on like the Homestar Runner compilation, there's 60 different tracks.
Yes.
Because literally every cartoon or almost every cartoon would have some kind of little ditty or a short like musical interlude or something.
Yeah.
They were just created so much like so many little catchy jingles and things like that. It just kind of permeated everything that they did. So now when they try to like go back and catalog it, it's like a bunch of 20-second tracks. So it's not quite the same as like.
But of
pulling
course
up
there
on
of
your
course
playlist.
there is Strong Bad Sings, the old release of
Yes.
Strong Bad songs that has the Cheetah's Not Dead on it. It's got Trogdor the Burninator. It's got The System Is Down. I remember being at Myrtle Beach with Brian Wakefield and a few others.
You dox Brian Wakefield all the time.
In a van, listening to the Strong Bad CD.
Man.
College, baby.
You'll never get that
place back. To listen to a Strong Bad CD.
I know, right?
Myrtle Beach.
A van in Myrtle Beach.
In a van, yeah.
Down by the beach.
One I wanted to bring up, and I don't remember if you... It cracked my roommates and I up so much, was the one Strong Bad email where someone writes in asking for Strong Bad to write his English paper or his school paper for him. Do you remember that one?
Vaguely.
And and so it's funny because he's typing directions on like how to write a paper, but then he's not narrating what's on the page, and he gives the guy a cool nickname because your professor's not going to read what's past the first paragraph anyway, and so it was Kyle the Yellow Dart Smith, and so. And just the paper, like it ends the first paragraph with, "It is my intention to go and play video games now for hours," or something like that. And if you go on the YouTube video and read the comments, it's full of people that were like sneaking in little bits and pieces of this into their high school papers and reminiscing about how like they took bits of that paper to write in their own schoolwork. And it's great.
That's amazing.
Oh, man. Different time.
It was. Oh, Chips Challenge.
Oh, Amy's down the Chips Challenge rabbit hole now.
Amy needs to go cry.
Amy, all right. Well, Amy is having an existential crisis, so we should
am.
probably wrap it up because
Why did you have to bring up Chip?
What?
His challenges.
Chip, this is so challenging. This is so Chip challenging.
I never had a chance to challenge them all.
Oh, God. You guys, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to Cool Kids Club. Thank you to our special guest, Casey, whose last name I will not say.
It is not Jones.
No, it is not.
Despite us saying it, it's actually not.
Nope.
Don't even try. At Cool Kids Club Pod on Instagram and Twitter.
Not Twitter.
Or X
We
or
don't
whatever the hell
We
it's
don't
called.
care about that anymore. Let's be honest. Just follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, it's Instagram. It's Instagram.
It's always Instagram.
Yeah,
Zuckerberg, like we said, that's our billionaire of choice.
I guess.
Better or worse. You know. Casey, thank you so much for being on here. You are a wealth of knowledge in Homestar Runner and medieval text.
A friend to all.
A friend to all. Just like Brian Wakefield, great or small.
Well,
You
I'm
just
gonna go
said
grab some
Brian's
beers with...
last name.
Justin, you said it like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
I think you
And
might
also,
say it in every episode.
You say it
And also
every
at the end of
episode,
every episode.
at BrianWakefieldMusic.com.
He knows that I do that. He asked me
I
to
know.
do it. Well, he didn't ask
So
me.
I figure it's fine to say his last name because everybody already knows it.
Yeah, okay. Point taken. I concede.
I don't have to beep that one out.
No, that's right.
No.
That's all right. But Casey, we will protect your identity. We're gonna blur your face, even though this is not a video podcast, and we are gonna alter
best.
your voice like on an old
For everyone's
Unsolved Mysteries
benefit.
episode.
Yeah.
The whole show.
I should have just talked the whole show like Homsar.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm just gonna put like a
yeah,
strong
just
bad
say-
filter on your audio,
There you go.
Now,
and the whole thing will just be.
Now, Casey, when we wrap these bad boys up, we usually tell the good people to stay cool. Do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Stay as cool as a cucumber.
Perfect.
That was perfect. That was a perfect send off.
It was beautiful. It brought a tear to my eye.
There's already tears in my eyes, but it's not because of that.
It's because of Chip.
It's because of Chip.
Down.